All right, guys, today we're going to continue our practice with creating three-dimensional forms, and we're going to focus on drawing some spheres today. We've had a little bit of practice on this type of drawing throughout the year, and this one is going to focus more on adding color to our project to create value and therefore make our shapes look more three-dimensional. So what you're gonna need is a black marker, or I would actually suggest using a pencil. I'm gonna use a black marker so you can see my drawing a little bit easier. Something to trace with that's circular. I have this can here with a couple different sizes, and I'm gonna be using colored pencils. So I've got a few different colors here. And when you're drawing a three-dimensional form, what we're doing is we're taking a 2D shape, which is a circle, and we're adding something to it to make it look round or three-dimensional. So today we're gonna focus on drawing some bubbles, which, as you know, are made of soap and water, so they're kind of clear and transparent, and you can see right through them. So what makes them look round is the light and reflections kind of bouncing off of that shiny object. So we're gonna focus on creating some shapes and some colors that look realistic in the sense of the light hitting that surface. I'm just gonna start by tracing a couple circles here. If you don't have anything to trace, you can just draw your circles by hand. I'll do a couple of those too. I want some smaller ones. I'm gonna make these overlap just a little bit as well. Messed up a little bit there. Let's just add. That's why using pencil is going to be a better option. That way you can erase little stuff like that. Let's draw a little smaller one here. You can also draw organic shapes. Sometimes bubbles kind of float in the wind. Right as you blow them, they kind of sometimes wobble in the wind. So we'll do one right there too. All right, next. What we're going to draw next are going to be shapes that reflect off of that surface. So things like windows, overhead lights. So like the ones in my classroom here are rectangular, as you can see right up there, and these windows. So if I blow a bubble in my classroom, that's what is going to show up, is those rectangular shapes. So I'm going to focus on making my bubbles look like that. So I'm gonna draw a couple of those rectangular shapes. Now the key here is, because this is a 3D sphere, the rectangle will actually bend. So we want it to kind of bend with the shape of the bubble there. I'm gonna kind of taper it off too, make it a little pointier at the end. Do the same thing over here. Kind of draw two. Draw a little smaller one beside of that here. And feel free to slow this video down if I'm going too fast for you. Pause it, catch back up. Draw a couple more in the middle here. That's a good start. We'll do the same thing to this smaller bubble. My reflection will therefore be a little bit smaller as well. Okay. Do one here as well, this little tiny bubble. When you're drawing a reflection on an organic shape, you have to get a little bit more creative with your reflections. Again, just kind of make them follow the curve of the bubble itself. Do a couple smaller ones that kind of trail off. Same thing in here, a couple more in the middle. All right, this is a good start. Now what we're gonna do is add some color. So this is where our value practice is gonna come in. We're gonna try to create some value here. I'm gonna stick with these colors here first. I'm gonna use like this reddish, this bluish, purplish, pinkish color, sorry, purplish pink. I have a dark purple and like a turquoise green. And I'm gonna go in to each of these little reflections, and I'm gonna create kind of a triangular shape like this that again follows the shape of the bubble. So I'm gonna do that for each of these first, for the bigger ones. And you can get really creative with this portion of the project. You can really use as many colors as you want, because when that light refracts, it's actually bending the light and showing you the entire spectrum of color, which is going to be the full rainbow. And you're going to see all sorts of different colors. These are just the colors I'm choosing to use. Next, I'll add a little bit of this purple around the edge. That. We blend it in just a bit. I'll do that for each of these. And I'm working pretty quickly here. I always encourage you guys to take your time a little bit more. I'm just trying to get this done so you have time to do your work. And remember, you can always pause this, slow it down, work at your own pace. All right, now this last color, I'm using this pink. I'm gonna kind of create a whole value scale here and let my color get lighter and lighter and lighter until it kind of fades off into a white. So I'll do that for each of these. Again, over here. There we go. Missed one here. And you can also just take your color you're using and you can kind of do that same thing. Just use one color and let your value scale just unfold inside of that reflection. All right, now let's add some more color around the edges as well. Let me sharpen this really quick. There we go. I'm gonna add some yellow around the edge of my bubble here. Make this nice and bright. I'm gonna turn my paper a little bit. Sometimes that makes it easier for me to color in a nice even line if I'm doing something circular. So, and then I'm just gonna shade just a little bit deeper in with a lighter shade of yellow here. Do the same thing on this one. And you can do each of these bubbles different colors too. I'm just choosing to make mine all uniform. I'll do this curved one, maybe a slightly different color. All right, next I'm gonna go to an orange and kind of blend some orange into that yellow. Make it look like the light is really shining through. Let's darken it up right here where they overlap a little bit. There we go. We're trying to make it look like that light is shining through this transparent surface. Then we'll go to a little bit of red. Let's do some red next. Go a little bit darker here. Kind of go opposite sides again, same way as we did those reflections. Do a little here as well. Again, when you're coloring like this, you're trying to make your colors flow in that circular direction, so everything is looking uniform. Kind of blend that even all the way up into this yellow a little bit. Okay. Do the same thing on this one. Go a little bit darker again. This is where it can help to have a smaller circle even too to trace some of this, so it's more of a perfect circle with your color, but I need a little more orange here as well. Let me get some of this pinkish color out again. You are going to want to leave some of your bubble white as well, because you will find areas where the light is really bright. And you want it to look like it's reflecting off of that surface. So you guys can kind of take these techniques and tips and apply them to your own drawings. All of these are gonna look unique and different, the way that you're blending your colors and the colors that you choose. Look forward to seeing you guys again next time.